Behind one of those doors is a machine the world was told is a telescope. He carried what he found into a closed briefing. Scientist says it's impossible.
Antarctica looks like nothing more than a frozen land covered with ice. But what if something else has been hiding beneath it all this time? A whistleblower allegedly made shocking claims about secret technology buried deep under the ice. And those claims have left many people asking difficult questions. Strange discoveries and hidden places beneath Antarctica continue to fuel curiosity around the world. So, what is really buried under the ice? And could the truth be far stranger than anyone expected? Join us in this video as we reveal the details. The top secret technology hidden beneath Antarctica. In 2010, a plumber named Eric Hecker allegedly accepted a job that would change the way he looked at the world forever. He traveled to the South Pole in Antarctica to work at a research station. The place was known for scientific studies, and many people believed the work done there was only about learning more about space, weather, and the Earth. Eric was not a scientist. He was simply a plumber, whose job was to repair pipes, keep the water running, and make sure the station worked properly. At first, everything seemed like a normal contract job. He boarded a large military aircraft fitted with skis because ordinary planes could not land on the thick Antarctic ice. The moment he stepped outside, he was met by freezing air that was colder than anything he had ever felt before. Every breath was difficult because the air was thin, and all around him was endless white ice stretching as far as he could see. The station itself looked modern and very strong. Every building had been built to survive the harsh weather, because once winter arrived, help from the outside world would be almost impossible to get. One thing allegedly caught Eric's attention almost immediately. The company that hired him was Raytheon, a company widely known for making military equipment and defense systems instead of plumbing services. He reportedly thought it was unusual, but like many workers, he focused on doing the job he had been hired to do instead of asking questions. He worked throughout the summer months, repairing pipes and maintaining different systems around the station. According to his account, his work impressed those in charge, and when summer ended, he was offered another contract that would allow him to stay during the long Antarctic winter. This new role also made him the station's lead firefighter. That position allegedly came with an important responsibility. Because firefighters must be able to reach every part of a building during an emergency, Eric was given a master key that could open nearly every locked room in the station.
The company that hired him doesn't fix pipes. It builds weapons for the US military, and they gave him a key to every locked room on the base.
Most workers only had permission to enter the areas connected to their jobs, but Eric reportedly had access to places that very few others could enter. Before winter officially began, he received a detailed tour of the station and learned about the important systems hidden beneath the ice. He was told about a huge scientific project called the Ice Cube Neutrino Observatory. According to the explanation given to him, thousands of sensors had been buried deep below the ice to detect tiny particles called neutrinos that travel across space. These particles are so small that they can pass through planets without being noticed. Scientists hoped the observatory would help them learn more about the universe. Eric also learned about another system called ELF, which stands for extremely low frequency. He allegedly remembered that the people showing him around strongly stated that this system had been shut down and was no longer operating. They reportedly made it clear that the system was completely inactive and did not need any attention. For Eric, it was simply another piece of equipment at the station, and he had no reason to question what he had been told. Days later, while carrying out a routine repair, he needed to switch off power before beginning his work. As he followed the electrical lines to the correct breaker panel, he allegedly noticed something unexpected. The breaker marked ELF was switched on. According to his account, it appeared to be receiving power even though he had been told the system had been completely shut down. Believing someone had made a mistake, Eric reportedly informed his supervisor. Instead of showing surprise or checking the equipment himself, the supervisor allegedly told Eric that the system was active and advised him to focus only on completing his assigned repair. Eric said he found the response unusual, but decided not to argue. He returned to work and continued carrying out his duties. As the months passed, Winter settled over Antarctica. The sun disappeared below the horizon and would not return for months. The last aircraft left the station, leaving everyone completely cut off from the rest of the world. According to Eric, life became quiet, dark, and isolated. Every day, he walked through the station, checking equipment and making sure everything was working safely. During one of these inspections, he allegedly noticed something that raised even more questions. A bright green beam of light appeared to shoot straight into the sky from a building that had been described as an air monitoring station. He reportedly saw this happen more than once. The same building was said to be so sensitive that vehicles were not allowed to drive close to it, and aircraft were expected to avoid flying low overhead. Eric admitted he was not an expert in science, so he could not explain what he had seen. As Eric looked deeper into the systems beneath the ice, would he uncover answers that supported his suspicions, or would the mystery only grow even bigger? Let's delve deeper. Bigger questions and unproven claims. As the long winter continued, Eric Hecker allegedly began paying closer attention to the things he saw around the station. He was still carrying out his daily work as a plumber and firefighter, but some of the equipment stored around the base reportedly made him curious. According to his account, he found large amounts of helium being kept at extremely low temperatures. He later learned that when helium is cooled enough, it can be used in some advanced scientific machines, including certain kinds of laser systems. Eric admitted that he was not a scientist, engineer, or weapons expert. Still, he allegedly felt that the equipment he had seen did not fully match the picture of a simple research station. Wanting answers, he reportedly began searching for information that was available to the public. He read technical documents about the Ice Cube Neutrino Observatory and tried to understand how the system worked. According to his understanding of those documents, the sensors buried deep under the ice were not only able to receive signals, but could also send out electrical signals. He allegedly believed that each sensor could produce more than 2,000 volts, and that thousands of them were spread through the ice.
I have provided documentation that proves that the 5,160, what they call DOMs, that are embedded in the ice can actually transmit at 2,047 volts each.
Looking at those numbers, Eric reportedly reached his own conclusion. He believed the system might have abilities beyond the scientific purpose that had been explained to him. He allegedly began to think that the equipment under the ice could send energy through the ground, instead of only collecting information from space. It was a theory that would later become the center of his public claims. According to Eric, one event made him question everything even more. On February 22, 2011, a powerful earthquake struck Christchurch, New Zealand. The disaster destroyed buildings, trapped many people under rubble, and claimed the lives of 185 people. The earthquake shocked the world and became one of the country's worst natural disasters. Eric later claimed that shortly after the earthquake, several people at the South Pole Station allegedly spoke with him about what had happened. He said these individuals had knowledge of the systems operating beneath the station. According to his account, they allegedly told him that the underground array had been activated for the first time and that something had gone wrong. They reportedly described the earthquake as friendly fire, suggesting that the energy had accidentally gone to the wrong place instead of reaching its intended target. Eric never publicly revealed the names of the people who allegedly shared this information with him. Because of that, there has been no public confirmation of their identities or their claims. After completing his contract, Eric returned home expecting life to return to normal. Instead, he allegedly began suffering from several health problems. He reported headaches that would not go away, memory problems, mental fog, and unusual skin conditions. According to his account, some other workers who had spent time at the South Pole also experienced similar health issues after leaving Antarctica. Eric allegedly believed these symptoms were connected to exposure to some kind of directed energy while working at the station. He later compared the symptoms to what has been called Havana syndrome, a condition reported by some diplomats, intelligence officers, and government workers who experienced unexplained neurological problems. However, the exact cause of Havana syndrome remains a subject of debate, and experts have not reached a final agreement about what causes it. Years later, Eric decided to speak publicly about what he claimed to have witnessed. In June 2023, he allegedly shared his account with members of the United States Senate Intelligence Committee and investigators connected to the Department of Defense. During those meetings, he reportedly explained what he had seen at the South Pole described the powered ELF system, spoke about the strange equipment, and discussed the health problems that he and others allegedly experienced after returning home. His statements quickly attracted attention online and became the subject of many discussions. Supporters believed he was exposing hidden information, while critics argued that his claims lacked proof. Scientists connected to the Ice Cube Neutrino Observatory strongly rejected the allegations. They stated that the observatory was built only to study neutrinos and could not operate as a weapon. According to project representatives, the equipment does not have the ability to send powerful energy over long distances, and they argued that it would be impossible to secretly install the kind of machinery needed to do what Eric described. The United States Geological Survey has also stated that there is no verified evidence showing that humans have ever caused an earthquake like the one that struck Christchurch. If Antarctica was hiding much more than endless snow and ice, what incredible discoveries were waiting beneath its frozen surface? Let's find out. The hidden world beneath Antarctica. When most people think about Antarctica, they picture a land covered in nothing but snow and ice. From high above, the entire continent looks almost empty. There are no forests, no cities, and very little wildlife to be seen. It is quiet, cold, and covered by a thick blanket of white that stretches farther than the eye can see. For many years, people believed there was very little to discover there except ice. But as scientists spent more time studying the frozen continent, they slowly realized that Antarctica was hiding far more than anyone had imagined. Deep below the thick ice was a world that had remained hidden for millions of years. This discovery completely changed the way researchers looked at the continent. One of the biggest discoveries began in 1970 when a team of Soviet scientists started drilling deep into the Antarctic ice. It was not a project that lasted for a few weeks or even a few months. It continued for almost 28 years. Day after day, year after year, they pushed the drill farther into the frozen ground. The deeper they went, the more difficult the work became. The ice above them was much thicker than most people could imagine. In some places, the ice covering Antarctica is almost as tall as Mount Kilimanjaro. That means there are thousands of meters of solid ice sitting above the land. As the drilling continued, many people wondered if the scientists would ever reach anything except more ice. Then, after drilling almost 4,000 meters below the surface, they finally made an incredible discovery. Instead of finding more frozen ice, they found liquid water. It was a giant lake hidden beneath the ice. Scientists later named it Lake Vostok. The discovery shocked researchers around the world because nobody expected such a huge lake to exist under one of the coldest places on Earth. Scientists believed the lake had been completely sealed beneath the ice for millions of years. Because it had been cut off from the outside world for such a long time, many researchers began asking an exciting question. Could there be living things inside the lake? If there was life, it would have survived without sunlight and without contact with the rest of the world for an incredibly long time. Some scientists even believed the tiny organisms living there could be very different from those found anywhere else on Earth. Although many ideas were discussed, researchers agreed that only careful scientific study could provide the answers. The discovery of Lake Vostok encouraged scientists to search for other hidden lakes beneath Antarctica. As they continued their work, they realized that the frozen continent was not simply one giant block of ice. Instead, there was an entire hidden world buried underneath. Learning about this hidden world was not easy. Scientists first had to understand the ice itself. Antarctica is known as the coldest, driest, and windiest continent on Earth. Even though it is covered with ice, it is officially classified as a desert because very little snow actually falls each year. The snow that does fall slowly builds up over thousands of years. As more snow lands on top, the older snow becomes tightly packed. It slowly changes into a material called firn before finally turning into solid ice. This process takes many years. The heavy ice does not stay still. It slowly moves across the land like a very slow river. As it moves, it stretches and cracks. These cracks are called crevasses. Some are so deep that people cannot see the bottom. They are often hidden beneath thin layers of snow, making them one of the greatest dangers for anyone traveling across Antarctica. To avoid these dangers and learn what lies beneath the surface, scientists developed different ways to study the continent. Many years ago, researchers even used controlled explosions to send shockwaves through the ice. Those waves bounced back and helped reveal what was hidden below. Today, technology has become much more advanced. Satellites, powerful lasers, and special radar systems carried by aircraft allow scientists to look beneath the ice without digging everywhere. These surveys revealed something truly remarkable. Underneath Antarctica is an ancient landscape filled with mountains, deep valleys, giant trenches, volcanoes, and huge hidden lakes. It was almost like discovering another world buried beneath the frozen surface. Every new discovery reminded scientists that Antarctica still holds many secrets waiting to be uncovered. After discovering a hidden world beneath the ice, what did scientists find when they finally reached those ancient lakes? Let's learn more. Life found beneath the ice. As scientists continued learning more about the frozen world beneath Antarctica, they discovered that Lake Vostok was only one part of a much bigger story. The more they explored, the more hidden lakes they found beneath the thick ice. Over time, researchers discovered hundreds of these underground lakes. Some were completely sealed beneath the ice, while others were connected by rivers flowing deep below the surface. Satellite studies showed that some of these lakes slowly filled with water and later emptied into other lakes.
And satellites revealed something very weird. The ice sheet was lifting and dropping, almost 10 meters in some places.
As this happened, parts of the ice sheet above them would slowly rise and then sink again. This surprising discovery showed that Antarctica was hiding an active water system beneath its frozen surface. It was not simply a continent covered in ice. It also had rivers and lakes moving quietly below the ground where nobody could see them. After finding so many hidden lakes, several countries decided to study them more closely. Russia continued its work at Lake Vostok. Britain planned to drill into Lake Ellsworth. The United States prepared to explore Lake Whillans. Every team faced the same challenge. They wanted to collect water from these ancient lakes without damaging them or bringing modern germs into water that had remained untouched for millions of years. Scientists knew that even a small mistake could contaminate the lakes and ruin valuable research. They also worried that breaking through into a sealed lake could be dangerous. Some feared that the water might be under enormous pressure and could burst upward with great force. For many years, researchers carefully studied every possible risk before making the final decision to continue drilling. The Russian team eventually reached Lake Vostok first. However, there was one problem. Their drilling hole contained kerosene and other drilling fluids that had been used to stop the hole from freezing shut. When water from the lake entered the drilling hole, scientists later questioned whether the samples had mixed with those chemicals. At first, reports claimed that a completely new type of bacteria had been discovered. However, many experts remained careful. Some believed the bacteria may have come from the drilling fluids instead of the lake itself. Because of these concerns, the findings remained the subject of debate. Other scientists believed more testing would be needed before anyone could make firm conclusions. While that discussion continued, the American research team used a different drilling method. Instead of using chemical drilling fluids, they used very hot water that had been cleaned and treated with special filters and ultraviolet light. This allowed them to drill through the ice while greatly reducing the risk of contamination. After working for many days, the team finally broke through into Lake Whillans. It was a moment of great excitement because they had successfully reached one of Antarctica's hidden lakes without using chemical drilling fluids. When scientists collected water from the lake and examined it, they made another important discovery. The water was full of microscopic life. Tiny bacteria and other small living organisms were surviving in complete darkness beneath thousands of meters of ice. There was no sunlight reaching the lake, yet these tiny creatures were still alive. Instead of getting energy from sunlight like plants do, they survived by using chemicals found in the water and the rocks beneath the lake. Later studies also found new viruses that infect bacteria. Scientists explained that these viruses only attack bacteria and do not infect people. Researchers also searched for larger forms of life. They lowered cameras and underwater equipment into the lake to look for fish or other animals. According to the research, no large animals were found. Everything they discovered was microscopic. Even though the creatures were tiny, the discovery was considered one of the most exciting scientific findings ever made in Antarctica. Some researchers believe these microorganisms may represent very ancient forms of life, that have survived since long before Antarctica became completely covered with ice. While more research is still needed, scientists hope these tiny organisms can help answer some of the biggest questions about how life began on Earth and how living things survive in extreme environments. The discoveries beneath Antarctica are also helping scientists prepare for future space missions. Many researchers believe that some moons in our solar system, such as Europa and Enceladus, may have oceans hidden beneath thick layers of ice. If life can survive under Antarctica without sunlight, then similar forms of life could possibly exist beneath the frozen surfaces of those distant worlds. Although nobody knows for certain what future space missions will find, Antarctica has become an important testing ground. The drilling equipment, clean sampling methods, and scientific techniques developed there may one day be used to search for life beyond Earth. Every new discovery beneath Antarctica reminds researchers that our planet still holds many secrets. If Antarctica's frozen surface already holds so many secrets, what even more surprising discoveries are waiting deep beneath the miles of ice? Stay tuned for more. The hidden value of Antarctica. Antarctica may look like a cold and empty land, covered with nothing but snow and ice, but many experts believe it is one of the most important places on Earth. There is much more hidden beneath the thick ice than most people know. For many years, countries around the world have worked together to protect this frozen continent. Special international rules stop any country from claiming Antarctica as its own land. These same rules also stop people from mining for valuable resources buried beneath the ice. Because of these agreements, Antarctica has remained a place for peaceful scientific research instead of political fights. However, these protections can reportedly be reviewed in the year 2048. Because of this, some countries are allegedly increasing their research activities by building more stations and carrying out more studies across the continent. While these projects are officially for science, some experts believe that having a stronger presence today could become important if future decisions about Antarctica ever change. This has made the frozen continent more valuable than many people once believed. Antarctica is also important because it holds one of the greatest records of Earth's history. Every year, snow falls onto the continent and slowly covers the older snow below it. As time passes, the growing weight presses the older snow tighter and tighter until it becomes solid ice. This process has continued for hundreds of thousands and even millions of years. Each new layer covers the one before it, creating a frozen record of the past. Scientists carefully drill deep into the ice and remove long frozen cylinders known as ice cores. These ice cores allow them to study what the Earth looked like long before modern humans existed. Inside the ice are tiny bubbles of air that became trapped when the snow first fell. These bubbles have remained sealed for an incredibly long time. Scientists study them because they contain real samples of Earth's ancient atmosphere.
And it's through measuring the greenhouse gases from the bubbles in ice cores that we get this clearest link between what the temperature of the Earth has been like in the past and the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere.
By examining these bubbles, researchers can learn about carbon dioxide levels, methane, volcanic ash, and temperature changes from the distant past. Some of the deepest ice cores reportedly contain air that is around 1.2 million years old. This information helps scientists understand how Earth's climate changed naturally over very long periods. Many researchers believe these frozen records are priceless because if the ice melts, this valuable history could be lost forever. Not every part of Antarctica is covered with fresh white snow. In some places, powerful winds blow away the new snow before it can settle. This exposes much older ice that has been squeezed so tightly over time that almost all of its tiny air bubbles have disappeared. Without those bubbles, sunlight travels deeper into the ice. Most colors are absorbed while blue light remains, making the ice glow with a bright blue color. These areas are known as blue ice fields. Some of this exposed ice is believed to be hundreds of thousands of years old. Because it is already visible at the surface, scientists can study these ancient layers without drilling as deeply into the ground. Antarctica also hides another world beneath its frozen surface. Very little of this hidden world has ever been reached directly by people. Instead of digging everywhere, scientists use helicopters and aircraft carrying powerful scientific equipment. These machines send signals through the thick ice and into the ground below. The returning signals help researchers discover where solid rock, underground rivers, hidden lakes, and moving water are located. Using this technology, scientists have created detailed maps showing that a huge hidden landscape exists beneath Antarctica's ice. One of the strangest discoveries is blood falls. At first glance, it looks like blood flowing from the ice. Early explorers could not explain its bright red color. Scientists later discovered that the water comes out clear before turning red when it touches oxygen in the air. The water is extremely salty and has remained trapped beneath hundreds of meters of ice for millions of years. It contains large amounts of iron, and when the iron reacts with oxygen, it creates the deep red color seen on the glacier. Blood falls give scientists a rare chance to study the hidden water systems beneath Antarctica. These underground rivers do much more than stay hidden beneath the ice. They carry iron, organic carbon, and other important nutrients toward the surrounding oceans. When these nutrients enter the sea, they help tiny plants known as phytoplankton grow. These tiny organisms become food for krill, and krill feed many larger sea animals, including fish, seals, penguins, and even blue whales. This shows that what happens deep beneath Antarctica's ice can affect ocean life far beyond the frozen continent. What deeper secrets hidden beneath Antarctica could change the future of the world? Let's take a closer look. The hidden forces beneath Antarctica that could shape the world's future. Scientists believe Antarctica is becoming more important than ever because many countries are increasing their activities there. Even though the continent is covered by thick ice, experts say it may hold valuable natural resources and important scientific discoveries. China has continued building research stations that can operate throughout the year, while Russia has carried out surveys to study what lies beneath the ground in some areas. Right now, an international agreement stops countries from mining and claiming ownership of Antarctica. However, that agreement can allegedly be reviewed in the future. Because of this, many experts believe countries want to build a stronger presence now, so they will have more influence if the rules ever change. Some people believe this competition could allegedly create political tension between powerful nations in the years ahead. Deep below the thick ice, scientists have also found evidence that Antarctica is far from quiet. Dozens of volcanoes are believed to be hidden under the ice in West Antarctica. Some of these volcanoes are allegedly still active today. The heavy ice above them keeps large eruptions from happening, but heat continues to rise from below. This heat slowly melts the ice from underneath and creates hidden pools of water and steam. Scientists believe this underground heat helps glaciers move faster toward the sea, and may be one reason some parts of Antarctica are changing more quickly than expected. When researchers studied the continent using advanced technology, they discovered that Antarctica is hiding a huge landscape beneath its ice. There are giant mountains that no human has ever seen with their own eyes because they have remained buried for millions of years. There are also deep valleys and one of the deepest land canyons on Earth, hidden below the frozen surface. Ancient river paths are still preserved beneath the ice, showing what the land looked like long before it became covered in snow. These discoveries prove that Antarctica is much more than a flat land of ice. It is a continent with mountains, valleys, and a long history hidden beneath the frozen ground. Another mystery beneath East Antarctica is a massive underground structure known as the Wilkes Land Gravity Anomaly. It stretches for about 300 kilometers and remains buried beneath thick ice. Scientists have not reached a final answer about how it formed. Some believe it may allegedly be the mark left behind by one of the biggest asteroid impacts in Earth's history. Others believe natural geological forces may have created it over millions of years. For now, its true origin remains unknown. What do you think about the mystery of Antarctica? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for joining us as we explored the hidden world beneath Antarctica and the mysteries buried under its massive ice. If you found this report interesting, please like and subscribe. Click on the next video for more fascinating stories. See you there.